live in studio, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
Yes, here we are again another day committed to picking a fight with the mainstream media and providing you the timely truth centered around real estate, credit, finance, estate planning, tax planning, and so much more. You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback Show, where our number one goals are to educate, entertain, enlighten, but most importantly, we want to help you win. And how can you win? By engaging us. You got to engage us on our hotlines. We want to help you win no matter what you're facing out there.
The only thing I'm addicted to right now is winning.
Now, shoot a message or a text message or a call over to our hotline. It's 813-670-7372. Give us a call or a text, 813-670-7372.
Here's my number, so call me, baby.
And also our website, consumerqb.com. Plethora of information available for you at consumerqb.com. You can see all of our expert contributors by clicking on their link. Their contact information there is available for you. You can submit a form or contact form. We'd love to hear from you. Find out what you learned from the show or challenges you might be going through at consumerqb.com. Just click on that expert contributors tab. And we don't care if you're climbing a corporate ladder. If you throw a ladder in your truck on the way to work, this show's for you. We are going to help you win. And Brio Tuscan Grill at the International Plaza in Tampa, 2223 North West Shore Boulevard in Tampa. At Brio Tuscan Grill in the International Plaza Mall, you will discover Italian food, drinks, and a cozy atmosphere, as well as excellent service, bringing you the pleasures of the Tuscan Country Villa to Tampa. So Brio Tuscan Grill, we enjoy the restaurant over there. And let's go around the horn now, make our introductions. James Lascano, Transworld Business Advisors, back in studio. Welcome in, sir.
Thank you very much, Brandon. Always love being here and love to educate and with the everyone that is listening to us, and to have a better understanding of what I do, which is business brokering.
That's right. Buying, selling businesses. James Lascano is the man you want to talk to here in the Tampa Bay market, whether you're looking to buy or sell, investing. And we're going to talk more with James. Also, Fred Muth, a.k.a. the Tin Man, in the house. He's a sales and design expert, Tampa Screens and Aluminum. Welcome in, sir.
Thank you. The Tin Man. What a great movie. Hopefully they'll remake it and ask me to star in it.
There you go.
Anyway, patio screens, pool enclosures. This is what we do. Brandon, the boom is back.
It is.
We're just rocking and rolling in this business.
Patio screens, pool enclosures, and
there's more.
We're gonna dive into that as well with the market being back. I want to talk a little bit about that today. Talk about how there's some prognosticators out there talking about another bust coming and things like that. And at least in the Tampa Bay market, Florida, there's a lot of economic indicators talking about job growth. So we're kicking it really well here in Tampa Bay. Things are going well. And also in studio today, Scott Maurer, Advanta IRA and self-directed IRAs. Welcome in, sir.
Hey, great to be back. And I would echo what you and Fred were just talking about. The market is definitely different, booming. We're seeing a lot of people looking to get out of the stock market and get into alternative assets, and real estate is certainly at the top of the list.
Absolutely. And there's a lot of cool stuff to talk about there as well. And we want to make sure we help you with your daily development, your personal development. We're very passionate about that. As you know, I'm a published author and a professional speaker. Check out our book on Amazon, Become the MVP in Your Industry by Surfing the Radio Waves. And we're going to start you off with a little audible here today. We got Peyton Manning helping us out with that audible there. But what I want to talk about today is one of my favorites, and I'm going to start with a quote. It's a man is but the product of his thoughts. What he thinks he becomes. Gandhi. And what I talk about a lot is, of course, one of my main mentors is Tony Robbins. Been to his business mastery course in Mali, Fiji, and talking about directing your mind, the power of focus, especially in times of challenge and when things are down. It's important not to get too emotional and tied up in the details of the minutia, and realize that a lot of times in life, especially in sales, whatever business you're in, there's going to be ups and downs. There's going to be challenges. So there's 3 key areas that you want to focus on, especially when you think about these areas in your mind that's going to trigger, because our mind is a survival mechanism. It's a very old brain that we have in our minds that's kind of graduated as we go here. But what we focus on, we feel, regardless of whether it's true or not. So a suffering state is a negative emotion. So number one is when you feel loss. when you think because something happened, I lost that opportunity or I lost something of that nature. So it's a conflict or a friend with a spouse, or a spouse. If you feel less love and you're going to feel like you're procrastinating. So when you focus that, you want to identify it. Number 2 is less. Anytime you feel like now that this happened, I'm going to feel less. I'm going to have less in my life. That's going to be another trend that you want to really just identify early. Hey, I'm thinking about these negative thoughts. So when we focus on the idea of less, you become more convinced that the state is some event of what happened to you. You may experience less respect and less joy. And then number 3 is the worst of all, is whenever you think of never, whenever you think of lack, loss, or never. So whatever you focus on is going to expand. And whenever you think of never, you're doomed to experience negative emotion. So controlling the power of your mind, direct your focus and the power of your mind on what you want, and remember that you have the choice. Ultimately, it's you making that decision. There's your 2-minute audible from the Consumer Quarterback Show here, 2-minute drill. And let's go ahead and jump into this great content here. James Lascano, Transworld Business Advisors, helping you win in any marketplace in the areas of valuing a business. I think it's important, James. A lot of people, they don't realize they work in their business so many years, their whole life, their adult life, a lot of times. They get to the end of the road and they know how the business works. They understand the ins and outs of the business, but they don't put it on paper to where that new buyer, that prospective buyer, can understand it.
Exactly. And one of the key things that I'd like to say is, for anybody who's thinking of selling their business, the most critical thing is contact me and let's talk about what is the process. You may want to sell your business in about a year, a few months, 2 years. Talk to a professional. Okay, one of the most people go ahead and they call me when they want to be out in 6 months. That businesses don't sell that way. It is a completely different animal. Normal businesses sell on average of 10 months. Now, there are obviously exceptions to the rule. There's some businesses you go ahead and get for, the first day you listed, you'll get a lot of action on it, and eventually you could sell it in a month, 2 months. That's a very fast time to sell a business. Okay?
Yeah, the life cycle.
Exactly. But one of the things I would say is, look, contact me. Let's talk. Let's sit down and review everything, and let's look at your financials and see where you want to be. Also, the most prudent seller will be thinking way ahead and will think about 2 years. They'll say, look, let's start now. I know I want to sell in about a year or be out in 2 years. Let's see what the process is and what we need to do to take place. If I wanted to talk about buyers, I wanted to be very clear that no matter how much experience you have, you may have owned businesses, sold them before, or whatnot. The most important thing as a buyer is to assess risk. Okay, you're putting your money out there. You're investing. Okay, you need to find out when your return on investment is going to be given back to you. When you're going to get your money back. And in small business purchases, we look at it in the same way as realtor investors look at capitalization rate when we look at risk.
Right.
And down the line, to give a generalization, anytime you buy a business, if you assess the risk should be higher than 25%. Okay, 25% or higher. That should be
based on what?
Based on basically when you look at goodwill and you look at your return on investment. Okay, 25%. The way you look at cap rate at 12% being a great return on cap rate on any real estate venture.
Right.
A venture when someone's going into a business venture, they should be looking at ROI at 25%. It's almost double that. The reason is because there is goodwill involved. Okay, and therefore you're buying assets, but you're also going ahead and buying goodwill. So the best way to break it down, and the simplest way that I found to break it down, which is actually what I'm working on for the book. Your book that I've been writing. That's why I said, let me pull out my notes here of what I'm doing already. The simplest way that I'm doing it is, look, if a small business is for sale for a listing price of $100,000 and it has $40,000 of assets, and when we talk about assets, in this particular case, I'm including inventory in the assets. Assets and inventory are two completely different things, but in this scenario, I'm basically putting them both together. Okay? So I would say if you have $40,000 worth of assets, then the remainder, $60,000, is considered goodwill. Okay, and that's what the person basically saying, look, this is the expectations of the business, what we would believe it would be forecasted because of the history of the business that it does every year. This is what franchises sell. When a franchise sells you something, they're saying, look, the expectation is that you're going to make this much money. If you follow our pattern, the way we've managed our business, you're going to be able to make this much amount of money. Okay.
So you're calculating goodwill based on past performance of other franchisees.
Correct.
Okay.
And basically for in this, because some of these businesses are not franchise owned, you're basically on the history of the business, and depending on what type of business it is. Also, one of the key things is not all businesses are the same. You're never going to go ahead and find a valuation of a restaurant the way a funeral home, who has a completely different formula that we have to follow,
Right.
and they follow different guidelines. So you can't just go ahead and say, look, it's not a square peg that goes into a square hole. It's like a
Right.
square peg. You got to mold it to whatever hole is in there to
Right.
be able to fit. There are external factors. A time frame where someone can go ahead and say, look, if a business has been around for at least 10 years, that's a landmark. Okay, when we're evaluating a business, that means that it is stable, it's consistent, it's been there for many years, and it's not going anywhere. It's basically past the point of a business being shaky. Okay, so the 10-year mark is a very good thing also. But what I was explaining is, so the goodwill in a small business, combination of company's brand, customer base, customer ratings, employee relations, in addition to patents and trademarks, which have recently become a big portion of evaluating businesses.
Yeah, that's a big
Yeah,
part.
yeah. I mean, but of course, it's really, some people are paying for customer base. When you sell like a restaurant inside a building, that's a critical part.
Sure.
Because inside a building, there's a set amount of customers. So what you want to look at is how many people are the capacity of the building and what percentage is filled up. That's
Yeah, it
one
makes a lot of sense. You look at that, and so we want you to reach out if you like what you hear from James Lascano, Transworld Business Advisors. We would love to hear from you. Shoot us a call or a text message, 813-670-7372. Call or text our hotline number. We would love to put you in touch with any one of our 80-plus show partners that can help you win no matter what you're facing. CPAs, financial advisors, real estate experts. We've got health and nutrition experts on our show. Lots of ways that we can help you through the consumer advocate content. 813-670-7372 and submit the form at consumerqb.com. All right, so find out how a community came together to help a determined young man on our Tell Me Something Good segment, as well as more from our expert contributors. Giving a big shout out to the Maids Cleaning Service. They do a great job cleaning our real estate properties. 24-hour, 100% satisfaction guaranteed by the Maids Cleaning Service. They are referred for a reason. We'll see you on the flip side.
Hey everybody, I'm Forbes Riley, celebrity TV fitness host and creator of The Spin Gym. I'm here today with Brandon Rhymes, and you're listening to the Consumer Quarterback Show. Great ways to get happy, healthy, and wealthy.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. listening to the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us here. Brandon Rhymes, Consumer Quarterback Show, Platinum MVP Realty, and a top listing agent in Tampa Bay. Featured in Florida Realtor Magazine. Actually, just again yesterday, I saw the first article. It came out July issue of Florida Realtor Magazine. I was featured, and real excited about a lot of the growth happening around Platinum MVP Realty. We're looking for real estate agents. If you care to join us, we'd love to talk to you and interview you, a confidential interview. Platinum MVP Realty and the Consumer Quarterback Show, helping you win. Got a couple of hot listings here I want to let you know about. 10616 Cape Hatteras Drive in Tampa. This is in Palm Bay. It's a gated community within a gated community. 4 bedrooms, 2 and 1/2 bath, almost 3,000 square feet. It's on a conservation lot. There's a pool and a spa here on this beautiful property in Tampa Bay. It's in the town and country area. 10616 Cape Hatteras Drive. $388,000 just reduced. You got bay access as well if you're a boater. There's boat slips available there. 4711 Juanita Way South in St. Petersburg as well. Another beautiful property that we have. 4 bedrooms, 3 bath, pool home, and it's located near water in the beautiful Bonita Bayou of St. Petersburg. $375,000 just reduced, and it's a great buying opportunity here in beautiful Tampa Bay.
Sun is shining, the weather is sweet.
All right, we're giving a shout out to Signature Massage and Facial Spa in Tampa Bay. Swedish massage sessions at $49.95. Early bird specials as well, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Monday through Thursday. You get a $39.95 1-hour Swedish massage at Signature Massage and Facial Spa in Tampa Bay. Location out on Hillsborough Avenue, 11248 West Hillsborough Avenue in Tampa, right next to the LA Fitness in the town and country area. They also do reflexology, cupping, aromatherapies, spa, facial treatment, so many things that they can help you with. And take some time to relax. Go check out Signature Massage and Facial. Let them know you heard them on the Real Estate Quarterback Show using the coupon code RELAX, and you're going to get a 10% off your first treatment. All right, we're back here in studio helping you win in any marketplace. In studio today, James Lascano, Transworld Business Advisors. He's our business broker partner. We also have Fred Muth, a.k.a. the Tin Man, Sales and Design, Tampa Screens and Aluminum. And later in the show as well, we're going to hear from Scott Maurer, Advanta IRA. Learn how to invest your real estate in alternative assets through a self-directed IRA. Control your money, control the flow. And we're going to talk about a review as well that you might want to look at when we come back as well. So James Lascano, Transworld Business Advisors, he wanted to talk about some of his listings that he has. So if you're in the buying market, if you're on the buying side, check out some of these listings. Keep your ears open here.
Yeah, definitely. One of the things I have, and I have various types, but most importantly, if anybody who wants to own beauty salons, I have like 4 beautiful salons that are available, and spas. I have one in the beach. I have one in different areas within Tampa. Good businesses ready for sale. I have restaurants. I have 3 or 4 restaurants available right now. Again, good restaurants. If people are interested in such a thing, I have medical clinics, auto repair shops. I mean, look, I although I have a focus in telecommunications and businesses that have manufacturing, as a whole, I'm like a big supermarket of different things. I just everything that comes my way, people love working with me because of what I do and the way I work. So they're happy with that. I did want to say one more thing about when someone is working and dealing with trying to think if they want to sell their business, work with a professional. One of the key things is this. I have a friend of mine who actually reached out to me, and he's trying to sell his business. And he told me, look, I just want you to come and, look at the things and tell me what it would be worth. And I went over there. We had an evening together. I did a lot of work because I wanted to basically do it compressed time. So I did as best I could with the information he gave me at that evening. It took me a few hours. But once I came to it, and I'm going to give an example, the most probable selling price was about, let's say $50,000. Okay. He pulled out a sheet that he had gone to some type of business valuation website, and he put in some minimal information. And that website had told him that his business was worth $500,000. And I looked at him, and you know what? The easiest way to me to prove my point is I just pulled out peer comps, and I also pulled out all the different data that we have of what things are selling for, just the way someone would show a house, and the same process in a way. and tell them, look, no one is going to pay you this much for a business that doesn't have this much assets, doesn't have this much revenue. So it would have been foolish for him to even consider something like that. I mean, and buyers are not, they're savvy people, they're not just ignorant. They're going to do their homework, or they're going to have someone like me saying, look, this is what this is worth. So I implore you, please, before you go and put something out there, okay, talk to a professional.
Yeah, it's frustrating. We see that on the real estate side, and people, in many cases, they don't mind wasting your time. As a professional, you go and you get to your classes and you do your certifications, you do a comparable market analysis, you spend a lot of time for people, and then they don't mind, at all about just wasting your time and saying, oh, well, it's worth this. I think it's worth that. And you find that.
Yeah.
So it happens in business. Now, I was going to ask Scott, I was going to bring Scott in on this, but can people buy a business through an IRA?
You can. It's a very specialized niche way to do it. There's a way they call it a Rob's plan. It's a rollover as business startup, where if you're looking at starting your own business, or in this case, buying an existing business, you can roll over your IRA funds into a 401k. You can create a new business, create a 401k for that business, roll your IRA funds into that 401k, which then gives you the capital. Take that capital and buy that, either that existing business or starting a new one. You certainly can do it. Only thing I would caution people, there are a lot of providers, similar to what James was just saying, you're being careful who you work with. There are a lot of providers out there that will sell you the whole kit and caboodle of getting started. Work with a CPA, work with an attorney that you trust to get that started. We can certainly give you some guidance on how to do it, but it is a very specialized way to do it. But you do want to be careful about it if it's going to be your own business opportunity.
Yeah, that's it. That's an important, when you look at that, the opportunity to buy businesses, the opportunity to invest in real estate, and then having control of that, and then we might as well jump right into it, Scott. So when you look at investing through an IRA, you're able to defer taxes. You're not going to realize those taxes on your current year if you don't want. You defer that. So there's so many advantages when you look at buying real estate, first of all, and then you're able to tack on these extra advantages through a directed plan. I love the IRAs.
It is. It's great from a couple different aspects. One, as you mentioned, the control aspect of, if it's your account, you have this money. You have an IRA. You have an account with Fidelity, Schwab, whatever brokerage firm you can name. That's your money, and there's a lot of times advisors out there, other people who don't have your best interest at heart, putting you into things that you're really not sure of. And we get a common thing we hear from clients, or I'm in the stock market, I'm in brokerage firm, I don't really understand it, but that's where that's where I was told I need to put it.
Yep.
You have the ability to buy real estate, and that's just one of the many assets you can buy. But real estate's so attractive, I think, to a lot of people, because a lot of people already own their own home, or they're renting. Maybe they understand that their landlord is making money off them renting, and that your IRA can be the owner of a property, and that all of the gains, either from the profits on a sale, if you rehab a property, whether it's the income that's being generated on a monthly basis, that's now what's growing your IRA. You're not depending upon Wall Street, depending on the stock market, depending on our government to do everything to keep things running well. You're in control.
Yeah. I love that. You have the control factor. You have the taxable side of it. You have the ability to, and let's go back to the point you made as well, Scott, with a lot of these so-called wealth advisors. They'll sign up and they'll go to one of these networking groups, and they're the expert for that particular seat that they paid $400 a year to be the expert in that seat, but they might not be the best expert to refer to, and that's what I don't like about some of these groups out there. Just because they buy the seat, you're supposed to refer business to this person, but they might not be a fiduciary.
That's true, and I think, again, I'm certainly not painting all advisors with the brush, but some advisors, depending on the companies they're working for, their company might be pushing them to sell a certain type of product.
That's right.
So they're saying, okay, they're trying to then justify in their mind why this is a good investment for you, and they may be able to do so and sell you that investment.
Yep.
But do you really know that that's the case? That really is in your best interest. But having what a self-directed IRA gives you is the ability for you to choose the asset, whether it's a rental property or rehab, whether you're buying into a business. You're starting your own business, like with someone like James, using your IRA to do it, using that as the funding source. And there's certainly a lot of other hedge funds, private placements, investment funds that have great returns. They are maybe a more solid investment. And again, the key thing that flows through all of those investments is that you're in control, and presumably then you have a greater knowledge about what you're investing in instead of relying on that third party.
Yeah, we'll talk more about the fiduciary requirements or lack thereof as well when we come back, and we're going to bring Fred Muth into the conversation on our lightning round, or coming up as well in the next segment. We're going to talk about top places to watch fireworks according to cntraveler.com, and then find out how a community came together to help a determined young man on our Tell Me Something Good segment here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Giving a shout out to Kipton's, the Hotel Zamora on beautiful St. Pete Beach, the first new hotel built on St. Pete Beach in decade. Spanish ancestry meets cool Mediterranean attitude, whitewashed Mediterranean palace. You got a restaurant, the lounge, the 360 lounge on the rooftop. It's a great place to have a local staycation, or if you're from out of town, you got to check this out. The rooftop is beautiful. You got the awesome restaurant on site, rooftop yoga on the weekends, and also on Thursday nights they're doing karaoke there. So stay with us. Don't touch that dial. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Hey, this is Grant Cardone, and you're listening to Consumer Quarterback Show, hosted by my friend Brandon Rhymes. Do not touch that dial. I'll come right through the radio and grab your throat.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. Listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-670-7372.
Yeah, welcome back. Brandon Rhymes, former USF football player. Go Bulls, played on the inaugural football team at the University of South Florida. And we're helping quarterback transactions now, longtime quarterback on our sports teams, but now we're quarterbacking transactions to all of our 80-plus show partners on the Consumer Quarterback Show. We want you to think about this show as the hub of your financial, your business, and your health will, with each spoke extending out representing another one of our preferred partners, the finest folks in all of Tampa Bay and the Gulf Coast region that we've vetted, we've assembled, and we bring on the show to help you win with any type of decision you might have. I love, last week we had so many people reaching out for credit advice. We have had some renters calling in talking about, hey, I'm paying rent to my landlord. I want to find out more about how to get into home ownership, Brandon. I want to find out more about taking control of my financial future. We'd love to hear from you. Reach out at our hotline, 813-670-7372, 813-670-7372. And Anthony, our show producer, is his favorite song here.
Here's my number, so call me
And consumerqb.com is our website, consumerqb.com. Check out consumerqb.com. Submit the form there. The email comes directly through to us, and we're going to make sure that we get contact with you no matter what you're facing out there. We'd love to help you with that. Giving a big shout out to Felicia Lacaille with Healthy Gourmet, and it's a healthy delivery service for meals, a meal plan service. Plan starting at only $90 a week. Optimal fuel, optimal performance, organic veggies, natural proteins delivered fresh 3 times a week. Felicia Lacaille, longtime friend of the program here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Healthy Gourmet. We would love you to reach out to Felicia. Great meal plans here. And Monday, Wednesday, Friday roll around. I got these awesome organic, all natural foods that are delivered fresh, and working on a vegetarian diet as we've been kind of talking about there a little bit between the breaks here. But I got a couple of hot listings I want to let you know about. 380 Bridle Path Way in Tarpon Springs, $290,000. We just reduced this property, 4-bedroom, 2-bath property, pool home with a gated community in Keystone East Lake area, Keystone Bluffs area. $280,000 just reduced down, and it's 1,808 square feet. Also, a beautiful Tampa property here in Seminole Heights, 701 East Crenshaw Street in Tampa, Harmony Heights, 3-bedroom, 2-bath property, completely renovated, completely remodeled, just reduced down to $254,000. And the seller is motivated here. It's an exceptional remodel that's worth a look. It's got a beautiful pool and a fenced-in backyard. Great family home here, 701 East Crenshaw Street in Tampa. And we're back in studio helping you win in any marketplace. And from the first segment, we were talking with James Lascano, Transworld Business Advisors, talking about how to value your business, how to prepare your business for sale, and also some listings that he has if you're a buyer out there looking to buy. And Scott Maurer also chimed in a little bit talking about how, yes, you can buy a business through an IRA. And now we're going to switch gears. We're going to talk with Fred Muth, a.k.a. the Tin Man. He's back in the house, and he's helping people build these patios, screen rooms, pool enclosures, and much more onto your beautiful real estate.
The Tin Man's got a tough act to follow after hearing from you guys, Scott. And you guys. Hey, I've got a question, James. Curiously, is this more of a buyer-motivated industry today with the way the economy's going?
Because we have so many different right now, the baby boomers.
Yes.
It's starting to turn around where we have a lot of sellers.
Seller motivated. Yeah. See, I would guess just the opposite. Either way, patios, screen rooms, pool enclosures. That's our business. We truly enjoy designing and coming up with an idea and a plan for the homeowner. I believe that's probably the most interesting part of my job. The hardest part of my job is getting there in time with the traffic. And then, of course, we have the permit issue. I heard President Trump make a statement about a month ago on how he is very turned off with the permit process in this country. Obviously, he was talking about pipeline permits, not screen enclosure permits. But,
yeah.
But when he hit on that, I just, I said, this guy and I think alike. Well, I shouldn't say that on the air, I guess.
Be careful, be careful.
But it was such. It's very hard for any contractor in this industry to appreciate the lengthy, basically the duration of time for permitting. I would say it's unnecessary. I recall back 04, 05 when the big storms hit down here. We were pulling permits in one day, and it can be done. Basically, it's just a matter of a plans review, signed, sealed engineering, rubber stamp it, out the door.
Yep.
45 minutes later, you're out the door with your permit. And it's 4, 5, 6 weeks right now, and there's just really no reason for that. Obviously, the building departments are pretty tied up, backed up with new construction homes, which makes everybody happy.
Apartments as well.
But if that's the case, we would hope that maybe they could employ some more people and put them on to get our screen permits out.
Right.
It's very hard for me to sell a job and tell the customer it's going to be 4 to 6 weeks later, and until we're on site. However, that's the way it is.
It is what it is.
I can't change it. I can't change. I can only complain about it.
Yeah, and I'll hit the button.
Come on, man.
How about that?
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. So the permitting process, and let's talk about this as well, because in the green room before the show, we're kind of talking about some of the strategies and what you find out there with your competition and other companies. I mean, when you come out there and you have a permit that's required, I mean, it is required. There's no way around it.
That's correct. Some of the gray areas on permitting are, as you and I were speaking about in the lunchroom, existing lanais where the roof is there, the structure's there. Now, every county seems to have a different ruling on that. City of Tampa, for example, they do require a building permit if there's more than 150 square feet of space within that enclosure, and which makes sense to me. A small one, a 10 by 10, which is 100 square feet, permit's not necessary.
Yep.
Hillsborough County, they at one point they followed the same rule. This is outside of Tampa, and then I think about 2 years ago, one day they just like that, they changed their mind, and I don't need to pull a permit on the same product outside of the city,
right?
In Hillsborough County. In Pasco County, I don't care what size it is, you have to pull a permit. And then, of course, there's engineering charges and permit charges. So the small job now turns into an expensive job.
Right.
And, it's forget what's fair and what's unfair. It's just, it's mind-boggling in some cases to the homeowner.
And you got to check for those setbacks as well.
Setbacks matter. However, when the enclosure is already built with the roof and the concrete, built with a house, obviously there's not a setback concern because it's existing.
Right.
Now, on the new builds, the setbacks is a major concern. Setbacks they vary from county to county and district to district. And there's certain parts of the city of Tampa where the setbacks are for the solid roof enclosures. The setback it will vary from 15 feet to 20 feet. Typically, it's 20 feet. I had a job that went through in a planned unit development, and they had a 15-foot setback on the solid roof. Now where did that come from? It was within the PUD.
Mm-hmm.
So, these are all the little incidentals that you have to be aware of in your business, prior to, let's say, designing anything that's going to go into the guy's backyard.
Right.
A lot of people want the whole backyard screened in, and can't do that. I'd love to.
Let's talk about some of the different ones you've done, some of the success stories, and I think on a previous show. By the way, if you just joined us, I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes. We're talking with Fred Muth, a.k.a. the Tin Man here. Tampa Screens and Aluminum. He's helping you build patios, screen lanais, pool enclosures, and more. But you can put air conditioning units in these things. You talked about some really cool ones in the past.
Yeah. One of the most interesting jobs that I was involved with was at the reclaimed water pump station at Tampa International Airport. It's pretty much a large shoebox, and we did this through another contractor. My concrete contractor, Bill Connor, he gave me the lead, and we worked it together. And it was amazing because there were three different engineers on this job, and every engineer had a different idea.
Yeah.
Wind load had to be, I think it was 160 because the airplanes would come in and get so close to it. Okay, 160, 180, what do you want? When they wanted it to go to 160, it was a matter of putting a couple extra bolts in there to get it. But every time that they made a change, it had to be redesigned and redrawn. So it was 4 to 5 months before it came out of the ground, basically, because these three different engineers had three different ideas.
Yeah.
Very, very. It is comical in the business, but in some cases it just drags on too long.
I guess you want to overestimate on something like that.
Absolutely.
Be in the position of safety.
You have to. You have to cover it.
And then on a one lady's home, you mentioned that they had the what do you call it, landscaped area on the inside.
Oh yeah, I completed that about 2 months ago, and it's not the first one I've done like that. Where this particular customer, they loved the idea of the outdoor garden area being inside the cage.
Right.
And in that case, rather than pour a slab, we just pour a concrete footer. It's called a ribbon footer at the perimeter. And then we built the cage on top, and then they landscaped the inside. I have not seen it since it's been landscaped.
Nice.
I plan to see it. Obviously, it takes a while for everything to grow, but I've done quite a few like that. And interestingly enough, one customer moved here direct from Germany, mm-hmm. and the Black Forest, and they wanted the Black Forest in their cage.
Wow.
And we did one, and it was an unusual design. It was a double hip gable screen roof, and I went back and looked at that job 2 years later, and it was beautiful. You could get lost inside of that enclosure.
Nice.
I like that. That's what I like about this business is, they don't all have to be the same.
That's
these
right.
enclosures.
Creativity and uniqueness there. So Fred Muth, we want you reaching out to Fred Muth here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Tampa Screens and Aluminum. If you're considering putting on any type of addition to your home or office, we'd love to have you reach out to our hotline, 813-670-7372, 813-670-7372. And let's talk a little bit more with Scott Maurer here. Scott, so let's give a little teaser of what we're going to talk about coming up in the next segment. But, of course, self-directed IRAs. Let's talk a little bit about the fiduciary, but and then maybe what you're seeing in the market.
Yeah, I think, again, the assets we see across the spectrum of people self-directing, really the common theme is it's something unique and different that your brokerage firm, if you have an IRA with a bank or a brokerage firm, they are only going to hold those assets that they feel comfortable holding or that they want to. The IRS rules allow you to invest in quite a number of different things. Like I said, we've already talked about real estate, notes, gold, silver, private placements. And again, your advisor is usually not well versed in those types of investments. Right. So they're not going to suggest them. A lot of them might even try to steer you away from it. But the people that come to us have, they know a friend, they know a buddy who's in the financial industry in a different capacity, and they come across these investments, or they maybe are a real estate investor already personally. They see opportunities. They have money in their IRA. That's their nest egg. That's where the bulk of their savings is. And they feel like they can't use it because their investment advisor, who is wanting to sell them their own investments, is not allowing them to do it.
Yeah.
And we provide an outlet to make that possible.
Yeah, for many reasons, which we'll dive into on the other side of this break. So the top places to watch fireworks, according to cntraveler.com, coming up on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Stay with us. Don't touch that dial. ConsumerQB.com.
Thanks for listening to my daddy's show. For more information, go to consumerqb.com.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. You're listening to the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, welcome back. Giving a shout out here to Cryotherapy. Awesome chill therapy, cryotherapy down in South Tampa. Love this place, man. They got the cryotherapy. Go in there and increase your performance, reduce inflammation, athletic recovery, as well as flotation therapy. That's pretty cool, man. You float in here. I did a 1-hour meditation while I was floating, and it's really cool. You got to go check it out. Say hello to Brian and his team. Let them know the real estate quarterback sent you. They're located in South Tampa on McDill down there. Great opportunity and very affordable as well. Just 2 sessions for $39 for the cryo, and 1 section, 60-minute float session, $49. So check that out and invest in your health. What do you have if you don't have your health here? And Consumer Quarterback Show, helping you win in any marketplace. So Scott Maurer, we're talking currently with Scott Maurer at self-directed IRAs. You know, who's controlling your money? Who's controlling your mindset about your money? That's the thing. You think about, okay, well, you know, I've been with this advisor for so long. He's you know, the wealth advisor. He's working with whatever type investor, and a lot of times they're going to be selling their own type of products. That's the thing we want to warn you about. And at minimum, you know, I think it would be a great idea just to get a review, Scott. A lot of times people can just sit down and get a review of what they currently have. Yeah, I'm more than always, my staff is always more than happy to sit down with you, look at what you're currently invested in. Do you really understand it? And again, we can then show you some of the alternatives. And we don't sell the alternative investments. We don't sell the real estate. It is something you go out and find on your own. Yep. But we can at least make you aware of the possibilities. Because as you mentioned, your advisor a lot of times is conflicted somewhat. They're either being told what they need to be selling by their bosses. There is a new law in place, a fiduciary law, that where an advisor is supposed to be doing things that are in your best interest and looking at it not, you know, strictly from that perspective. But again, I guess, you know, how do they justify? They might justify, oh, this is in their client's interest, and justify it in their mind, and think they can be able to sell you on it and sell anybody else who's going to look over their shoulder. But really, you know what's in your best interest. And, you know, our clients, it does not take a rocket scientist to do what we do. You know, it's something, you know, people say, oh, it's an advanced investment topic, you know, investing in real estate, investing in, you know, private placements. That's simply not the case. It's you knowing yourself, you knowing maybe a particular industry, particular type of investment, feeling more comfortable doing it. It does not take a special individual, specialized knowledge to invest with a self-directed IRA. Right, yeah, and it's a confusing land space case when you look out there, the space of investments. There's so many different ETFs and all these different terms that they use, mutual funds, and Tony Robbins wrote a book, Money Master the Game, talks about the different types and the way that some of these advisors will say, oh yeah, I am a fiduciary, but I'm not really. They're really not. They're a certain type of agent. So it's just something you want to be careful of. You want to look at and get a review. We'd love to hear from you. If you want to get a review, shoot us a call or a text. Text IRA to 813-670-7372. You can also submit the form at consumerqb.com. Shoot us a text or a call, 813-670-7372, consumerqb.com. All right, so the top places to watch fireworks according to cnntraveler.com. Let's go around the horn. Let's see if anybody can guess here. Let's do our guessing game.
I'm from New York, so I'm going to say New York.
Macy's 4th of July fireworks in New York City. Yes, it's the biggest display in the country, using 50,000 visual effects in a 25-minute extravaganza. Fred.
I would say come to my house while I'm changing a circuit breaker. You want to see some fireworks? Come on over.
There you go.
Second guess, wild guess would be the City of Baltimore waterfront.
City of Baltimore. Let's see if City of Baltimore is on here. I don't see that one on the list, buddy.
Okay.
But yeah, I imagine.
Well,
I think it's got to be close by Washington, D.C.
That's right.
Always on TV.
Number 2 on the list. Absolutely.
I had to hand it to you, Scott. I had to.
National Independence Day celebration, Washington, D.C. It says they are the most, couldn't get more patriotic, it says, on the 4th of July in our nation's capital. So very interesting there. 17-minute show, they said. All right, let's see. Got another guest there?
San Francisco.
San Fran is on the list. Yeah, it's 4th of July at the pier, they say. 10,000 effects over 25 minutes attracts hundreds of thousands of viewers, and fireworks launch from barges in the water. All right, Fred.
Got to go with Chicago.
Chi-Town. Let's see. Chi-Town on the list. Chi-Town is not on the list.
Oh, strike two,
Right, too. About Boston.
Boston,
On the water.
Let's see. That's going to be, I think I saw that one on here. No, I don't think it's on the list.
Really?
So we got, so from the bottom up here, Nashville is on the list. Music City, July 4th, Let Freedom Sing. Baby Boom, San Diego is on the list. San Francisco, we said. Lake Tahoe. They got St. Louis. Philadelphia is on the list. Atlantic City.
My
Dallas.
hometown. I should have picked it.
Atlantic City, Dallas. Boston is on the list. Did somebody just say Boston?
Yeah.
And I said no. Duh, I didn't see it. Sorry. Boston's number 3, actually, on the list. National Mall, Independence Day, and then the Macy's 4th of July fireworks. So that rounds out our top places to watch fireworks according to CNNTraveler.com. I totally overlooked Boston there,
I was going to
Scott.
say, one place that's great, if you can Google it, you have to Google it, but it's a couple years ago, someone flew a drone. I'm sure other people have done it since then, but flew a drone up into the firework display.
Wow.
And had a camera attached, and watching fireworks from the inside was phenomenal.
I gotta look that up. Is that on YouTube?
Yeah,
I have
it
to
is,
see that.
yes.
That's pretty cool. That is really cool.
Probably not sanctioned by whoever was doing the fireworks to allow that, but it was beautiful.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so strangers buy a new car for a Texas man walking to work. So a young man's days of walking are over thanks to generous strangers. Rockwall resident Andy Mitchell started raising money to buy 20-year-old Justin Corva a new car, giving a ride to work at Taco Casa. Corva was walking miles to work, and so he offered to help him with the purchase of a vehicle. And he says, that's why I was saving for a car. Corva told Fox 4 is an instant blessing and an instant surprise. So there's your feel-good story of the week. Let's jump into our lightning round.
The lightning round!
I am so good at lightning rounds!
All right.
I majored in
Top
lightning
tips,
round.
things to do, things to avoid. Real quick round here, James.
Oh, I wanted to, okay. Basically, most important thing, if you're going to go ahead and sell a business, contact me so we can go ahead and look at the plan of exit strategy. If you're going to go ahead and buy a business, don't just go anywhere and don't go on the websites and look at something to get a ridiculous number.
Yeah.
Call me, let's talk, let's see, look, this is what you're looking for. It is a process, and remember, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. You know, you're going to buy the business, then there's going to things you're going to do with the business. It's many years you're going to work on this. You want to be very, very diligent on your homework.
Absolutely. Fred Muth.
I would hope that the customer would ask a lot of questions. Our best customers are typically the customer that has a series of questions when we walk in for the initial consultation. And it's all covered. They know exactly what they're going to get, and we like no surprises on the back end.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Right up front, find out what you got. Scott Maurer.
Yeah, I think twofold. If you're someone who has an IRA, has a retirement account, word of advice, review it. Periodically look at your plan. Ask your advisor questions about what you're invested in, what other alternatives you might even have, and then see how they respond to it. Someone who's more open to, and say, hey, yeah, there's certainly other things you could do, maybe not under my platform. Then you probably have a good advisor, someone who's looking out for your best interests. If they are saying, what else are you looking for, and they're kind of giving you a hard time, then maybe you'll search around for a new advisor. And if you're somebody who doesn't have a retirement account, call me, contact us. We can tell you about the different types of plans that are out there, especially for people who are self-employed.
Yeah.
You can really get a jump start on saving for your own retirement. It's never too early to get started.
Yeah, self-employed, they need to focus on that even more so because there's not, they're kind of out there on their own. They're doing their own thing.
Exactly.
So that's important. Yeah, so make sure also that you have a great CPA, an advisor, an enrolled agent. We work with Jake Alexander here on the show that's going to be able to put all this stuff together for you. There's a lot of questions. You're buying, selling real estate, buying, selling businesses, investing. How does this impact your overall status with the IRS? So we want to make sure you're taken care of there. So I want to thank James Lascano, Transworld Business Advisors, Fred Muth, a.k.a. the Tin Man, Tampa Screens and Aluminum, and Scott Maurer, Advanta IRA, for coming in today and educating our listeners out there. We want you to please go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness, something as simple as packing up leftover food, carrying it with you to and from your commute to work, handing it to that person that you see that's in need, and be a force for good in the community. You can also donate your time, money, and clothing to local churches and food banks. So we appreciate you tuning in to the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
You've been listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Contact Brandon Rhymes at 813 813-670-7372. That's 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. And join us next time for the Consumer Quarterback Show.
Enjoy tranquil seclusion in an eco-lover's paradise. Paddling through the mangroves where the only sounds you'll hear are the sounds of nature. Because you deserve to relax on vacation, visit Pasco County, Florida.